It's a very good evening and welcome to Network. My name is Sphumelele Zondi. Now, to celebrate Heritage Month this evening, we are going back in time to look at an old format of storing music to see where we came from before this digital era. We have information on e-waste in South Africa. Our discussion this evening is on gaming. We are live, so you can find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's newsnetwork@sabc.co.za on email. Let's start with your technology and social media news. We live in an age of fast-changing technological innovations, and as a result of this, we find that our favorite gadgets soon lose their shine for the latest model in the market. This can be anything from an old computer to dysfunctional television sets. Here in South Africa, the Department of Environmental Affairs is pulling out all the stops to rid the country of the so-called electronic junk. A new concept named e-waste will promote recycling, reuse and refurbishing of electronic products. Makhetla Motlabe has the story for us.
Africa e-waste, one of the few companies recycling e-waste. Since COP17 in Durban, more and more South Africans are becoming eco-conscious. This is one of the long processes of recycling e-waste materials, which will ultimately contribute towards a healthier, cleaner environment. It's about protecting Mother Earth.
The gases in CRT monitors, for instance, are quite dangerous to us, and a lot of people just take their monitors to the dump. I've seen some guys break monitors and expel those gases just to get to the copper.
On the other side of Midrand, stakeholders in the e-waste industry in discussions with the Environmental Ministry.
This conference is looking at the system, ensuring that there's a value chain, even involvement of every person who matters in the downstream, upstream, in the whole value chain. Whether you are a manufacturer, you could be an academia, you could be whatever. So that was a system that we are creating.
Communities have been urged to buy into this program.
We're also looking at issues of mobilization of people, making them aware. Because if our people are not aware that my computer or my own iron and kettle that sometimes actually stops working after 12 months, I just throw it behind the door and then it ends up in a landfill site. It can actually be valued. So people should learn to know and know that they can start being collectors, some can be transporters, some can be real recyclers. And there are companies that can be established through recycling. Our own people here in South Africa who never were industrialized and industrialists can, and we have to make them aware of that.
The upcoming UN Climate Change Conference, COP21, takes place in France in November.
Right now, we use all kinds of digital gadgets from phones to iPads and computers to listen to music. But that's not how it initially was. As we celebrate South Africa's Heritage Month, we're looking back at traditional methods of doing things in the technology space. Today, we're finding out a bit about vinyl records, as their sales are also going up. This is a gramophone record. Some call it a vinyl record or LP. It's an analog music storage format that was used when people wanted to listen to music in the home. It was in the 1890s that the first store that sells these was opened in the United States of America. Now people didn't need to go to live shows to enjoy their favorite artists. They could buy records in such stores and listen to it in the home. We found a store called Record Mart in Linden, Johannesburg, which still sells vinyls. The owner first used the internet to sell vinyls, but the demand led to the opening of this store.
There just seemed to be this cool little crowd of people who were still buying records. So, I continued buying collections and, reselling. Eventually I had, an entire cottage in the back of the house completely stacked with records. And, it was just time I needed to make a step up. I was selling online on eBay and Bid or Buy and those kinds of places, but, you're not really moving massive quantities and you're only really reaching, quite a small portion of the record buying population.
But it's not only in South Africa where there is a growing demand of the old format of storing music. In 2014, we heard that digital downloads were down, CD sales were down, but record sales went up. Jimmy Murakamu runs a record store in Nairobi in Kenya. He says he has an international clientele and believes the MP3 audio format is the worst invention in music. He opened his store in 1989.
I my living purely on vinyl. I have 6 children. The last one is in Form 2. All the rest are not with me. They are working. Some have been through university. And out of this alone, nothing else.
He says while formats change, there are still a lot of purists who want things the way they were in the past.
My customers are global, but mainly young people.
In 2014, vinyl record sales reached the 1 million mark again in the United Kingdom. The new popularity of this old technology means new challenges for dealers.
I've got an order in my car now, which is about 385 records. So there's definitely been a bit of an upsurge, in the record buying culture and the record listening culture. It does come with challenges. We're buying in dollars, and exchange rate is challenging currently.
With this new revival of this old technology, there are now collectors' clubs coming out of everywhere. Kenya has the Nairobi Vinyl Collectors Club. We'll have a lot more of those Heritage Month stories throughout the month of September for you. Now, a video of a Gauteng traffic officer goes viral, Google's logo gets revamped, and Sony Pictures reaches a settlement agreement with 9 of its former employees. Here's what else has been happening in the rest of the technology space.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the SABC News Tech Wrap. I am Lebogang Sejake.
And I'm Matiba Sibanyoni.
And we are coming to you from the eTemba Labs here at Wits University.
Now on the local front, an e-learning platform called Snaplify is offering over 76,000 ebooks to South African schools that sign up for their engaged e-learning solutions.
The company says a digital library is more economical to maintain as it does not require staff, physical space, or maintenance. They also added that ebooks last forever and are automatically returned, saving on administration issues. Started in 2011 here in South Africa, Snaplify claims to be Africa's largest ebooks aggregator. It also says that it has since signed on some of the continent's largest publishers for its trade and academic industry ebook solutions.
Now, it's been a year of upgrades for tech company logos this year. Search engine Google unveiled a redesign of their iconic logo this week, the 5th modification since the company started in 1998. The revamped logo displays a Google doodle on its homepage that spells Google in a sans serif typeface, similar to the one being used by Google's newly created holding company, Alphabet. The compact version of the logo, used to identify most of its apps, bids farewell to the little blue G icon and replaces it with an uppercase G, colored in blue, red, yellow, and green to make the full logo.
Sony Pictures Entertainment Inc. has reached a settlement agreement with 9 of its former employees following 2014's massive hack attack on the company's computer systems.
The class action status is a combination of 7 different lawsuits brought by former employees whose social security numbers, medical records, and other sensitive personal information were compromised during the data breach. Sony Pictures Entertainment's computer systems were hacked in November 2014 following the release of a satirical film about the assassination of Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Now, if you didn't know the name Clive Naidu last week, we wouldn't blame you, but this week it will be a different story. Clive Naidu was trending online this week for posting a video of a traffic officer who stopped him, and he hoped to get some sympathy online, but it didn't turn out that way. Clive Naidu did make a few internet mistakes though. He posted a video online with his real name and home address.
You paying you our salary, stay in Globosrat. Hey!
This is not safe as anyone can easily find him. He also gave out his real cell phone number.
082.
Well, that's it from us this week. Join us again next week. I'm Matiba Sibanyoni.
And I am Lebogang Sejake. And from us,
bye.
Ciao.
SABC Network in social media is News Network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we're going to talk about Amaze, which is a pop-up event that's part of the Fagugesi Festival. Stay with us.
Dudu had always been around boys from a very young age.
I've always been a girl who wants to intimidate boys. I want to do things that men can do. With education, it was the key. It was the first thing that I needed to do. I got an opportunity to go work overseas. I Kimberell as well, where she trained me on my vocal exercises and whatever. And I thought, this is your passion and this is what you need to do.
Join me, Pule Mulebati, on your show about those who take on and conquer life's challenges every Saturday at 5:30.
South Africa is the third leading country globally in TB infections.
We have 9 million new cases occurring globally, and 30% of those cases are occurring in the African region.
And there are two broad kinds of drug-resistant TB, so to speak. The one is MDR TB, and the other is XDR TB.
To ensure that everyone who's diagnosed with TB is tested for HIV.
There's grossly inadequate funding for TB. Vaccine, drug and diagnostic research. We need a lot more.
Join me on Health Talk every Saturday morning between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. as we unpack current health stories.
SABC Network and social media, welcome back. Now, games are heavily consumed across the globe and here at home, but games have very little African content. Some want this to change. Now, joining us in the studio to talk about the future of gaming in the African continent is Professor Christo Doherty, who is the director of Fagugesi African Digital Innovation Festival. We also have Thorsten Wiedemann, who is the creative director of Amaze Festival of Games and Playful Media. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network, gentlemen. Now, let's start with you, Christo. Africans are predominantly consumers of games. How are we likely to see this changing in future?
It's already changing. I mean, for Amaze, on behalf of Amaze, we put a call out across Africa this year for studios to contribute games to be shown at the Amaze Festival. And we had over 64 games submitted from the rest of Africa, everywhere from Tunisia, Nigeria, Kenya, and Amaze has been here now for 4 years in Johannesburg, and this is just showing the growth in game development across the rest of Africa.
Thorsten, you are the director of Amaze. What is it exactly? What happens there?
I mean, the Amaze Festival is a festival for professional game developers, mostly independent game developers. It's very important to kind of show that there's some people who are passionate and doing something with heart. And it's not just about products, it's also about personal stories, and this is something what I want to show. And it's playful media as well, because playful media can be everything, DIY stuff, can be maker stuff. So installation, we also have digital installations there. We have workshops, we have conference, we have parties, music and game arcades.
Christo just told us that there is an increase of African gamers that are participating this year. Can you just tell us about that and what we are likely to see this year?
I mean, since I'm doing the festival since 2012, it's kind of growing. I mean, when I came here for the first time, there was not even an association. Now we have the Make Games SA association, what brings all the game developers in South Africa together and also in Africa. And I mean, there's more and more people coming. The community is growing. It's very important to have a festival like Amaze that people can meet every year together, and it's great to have it at Fagugesi now. And so we work together and to make noise about games, game development in Africa and South Africa. So there will be a lot of people coming, and we are expecting about kind of 300 people who are going actually to the conference and to the workshops. And of course, the whole Johannesburg people are invited to show and play the games.
All right. Christo, you also have pop-ups that you've taken to various townships in Gauteng. Can you tell us about those pop-ups? What happens there?
Yeah, this is an amazing initiative. I mean, sometimes it takes foreigners to teach us as South Africans to reach out like this. And we had the Amaze pop-up in Soweto on Saturday, and today we had in Alex. And both were in community centres, and we saw tremendous interest, mostly amongst young kids. But people were... Alex, you can speak about the Alex.
I mean, yeah, today was Alex, and I mean, first of all, Soweto was great, it was fantastic. And Alex, I mean, it was very, very nice to bring all the kids together. And they're not just playing, because when they're playing, they also learn, you know? And we had experts there, so as well from Europe, and by the experts from Europe, people from Cape Town came over. We have students from the Wits University kind of mentoring the kids by doing something, by playing and learning to create games. So it's more kind of hands-on stuff. So they are young, they want to play, and they play with the games, and by playing games, they create games. So this is very, very nice to see. And
Thorsten, why is it so important to take it to the townships?
A lot of people in the township told me, because I have friends in the township, they told me, hey, why not doing a maze there as well? Because the people, because of the transportation situation and everything, they can't move. You know, it's impossible for them to go into the evening events or something like that. So I thought, okay, let's go there directly, find the people, and in the future, and hopefully a maze going to be for the next 5 or 10 years. So then we have games from there, and hopefully even earlier, and that makes the whole medium, games, to a cultural medium. So it's really good. It's giving much more value to the medium.
And the interaction that you're getting there, because you have had these pop-ups in central Johannesburg as well. And the interaction that you're getting from the township, is it different? Is it the same?
I mean, it is... I mean, it's super friendly. I don't know. I can't tell you. I mean, everything is for me here in Johannesburg is super friendly, and I'm romanticizing everything a lot. So, but I mean, it's there's no difference. I mean, the people want to play. They were willing to learn. This is something what I just found. And the tagline was kind of play and inspire and develop.
Christo, now Fagogesi has a lot of festivities that are happening. Why did you decide that gaming needed to be a part of this?
Gaming, well, our partnership with the Maze has really been central to Fagogesi. I mean, in gaming, we see all the different aspects of digital thinking, digital creativity coming together. So in gaming, you have programming, you have the asset creation, artists, musicians, game logic thinkers, all come together to produce a game. So in many ways, the gaming is the very center of the new digital economy. And that's why when I first met Thorsten 5 years ago, coming to look at possibilities in South Africa for his Amaze Festival, I just thought, this is a golden opportunity. We're trying to start gaming industry here in South Africa, really get it going, and to be able to partner with an initiative like Amaze from Berlin it's been incredibly valuable. I mean, it's brought international quality of game designers here to Johannesburg to actually engage with our developing game designers, and we're seeing the results. You know, it's actually designers are always telling me it really has made such a difference to doing this kind of work in Joburg.
Amaze is properly starting on Wednesday. Can you give us dates?
Yeah, we've had the pop-ups this weekend, and the Amaze for serious developers and game players begins on Wednesday night, when it's going to be opened by the City of Johannesburg, who are the main sponsors of Fagogesi and Amaze, and it'll be running for 3 days until Saturday.
All right, thank you very much. I'm Christo Doherty, Director of the Fagogesi African Digital Innovation Festival, and Thorsten Wideman, who's the Creative Director of Amaze. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, so now to find out more about the world of gaming, now games are heavily consumed across the globe and here at home, but games have very little African content. So let's see what some changes some people want to make there.
Meet some of Africa's game action heroes. South Africa's Shaka Zulu, the Egyptian pharaoh, and Anansi, a popular legend in parts of West Africa. And now, a new action-filled game has been developed in Nairobi, Kenya by a tech company called Black Division Games. The game goes by the title of Nairobi X, and it is Africa's first locally developed 3D first shooter and multiplayer video game.
It's time we started consuming our own products. I mean, how long will we play foreign games? I think it's time we play local games. Convincing people to sponsor the game was not an easy task.
And creating games for Africans by Africans is what the Amaze Gameplay Initiative is all about.
Because it's about the digital revolution. It's about interfacing South Africa and Africa to the world. But it's fundamentally about transforming our world. It's about creating an inclusive economy, an inclusive society, an inclusive world. And for that, we are particularly excited.
It's SABC Network and social media news network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we'll find out about a robot that has offsprings. Stay with us.
Your World makes it its business every evening to round up the leading local stories and international news to keep you informed all the time.
Make a date with Your World every evening for all the news headlines around the world to keep you abreast with knowledge.
Catch Your World for headlines across the world every Monday to Friday from 9 p.m, then Saturday and Sunday from 7 p.m.
Thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight. Now, scientists from the University of Cambridge have built a mother robot that independently builds its own children. I must say that this is raising eyebrows on a few of us who, especially amongst those of us who stay awake at night, worrying about the day robots take over the world. Here's that thought-provoking story.
This robot is bringing a new sense to the term Mother Nature. Built by the University of Cambridge's Department of Engineering, this robot mother was given the simple command to build children capable of locomotion. By analysing the data it collects, the mother robot ensures preferential traits are carried through to the next child she designs.
So the mother robot can actually build hundreds of child robots and see the performance of this child robots. And if the performance is good, keep the design for the next generation. If bad, just let it go.
Recent experiments showed how the mother robot improved the performance of her children over 10 generations. Fine-tuning of the design parameters led to versions that human designers might not have come up with.
The largest experiment we did so far is about, we built 500 robots. A mother robot generated 500 robots and see which one is good and which one is bad. And after all, we found quite interesting design that the design of child robots that is very difficult for humans to design.
The team believes it could one day have positive applications for industry, such as making cars.
I ask again, are humans trying to replace themselves? Here's what some people have been sharing in social media. Bafana lost 3-1 to Mauritania on Saturday. It was their first African Cup of Nations qualifier loss since 2011. The topic was trending in social media. Unilever hosted a Tweet for a Tree event on Saturday night. It trended in South Africa. They promised to plant 1 million trees if they get 1 million tweets for a tree. Joburgers have been sharing info about various Arts Alive festivities. Benin's Angelique Kidjo performed in one of these. And that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are on News Network at sabc.co.za and email. We leave you with the music video that has caused the most controversy online in the past week. Taylor Swift's Wildest Dream got some backlash in the space of less than a day, being posted on YouTube. It has raised questions about the portrayal of Africa in Western media, while her Africa didn't have any black people in it. From me and the rest of the network team, have a good one.
He said, let's get out of this town, drive out of the city, away from the crowds. I thought heaven can't help me now, nothing lasts forever. But this is gonna take me down. He's so tall and handsome as hell. He's so bad, but he does it so well. I can see the end as it begins. My one condition is, say you'll remember me, standing in a nice dress, staring at the sunset, babe. Red lips and rosy cheeks. Say you'll see me again, even if it's just in your wildest dreams. Wildest dreams. I said no one has to know what we do. His hands are in my hair, his clothes are in my room, and his voice is a familiar sound. Nothing lasts forever.